Hey guys, it's Aaron here in the 16-bit workshop again. So I'm probably going to be filming this over a few days. With the magic of editing, I'll put it all together into one video. But it's time to take the Amiga apart and clean it up and see what problems we find and what we can fix. So did some ordering, as you do, on Amazon. I got some isopropyl alcohol, an air duster, some cotton buds. Enough cotton buds to last me a lifetime. Some anti-static brushes for the circuit board, so that splash out, and some keycap pullers so that we can take all of these crusty, gooey keys off that have got the remnants of, I dread to think, stuck to them. So that's what I'm going to show you over the next little while. A lot of it's going to be stuff you've seen before, but the first job is going to be to take out the A501 expansion and desolder the Varta battery before it eats the rest of the board. I've ordered a replacement coin cell holder for that, so I'll probably do that bit when that turns up. Take the rest of the system apart, clean it up, see what we find. We might split this into a couple of videos, depending on how long it takes me to desolder the battery and so on, because it's been a while since I did any soldering. Like, yeah, a while. So, let's crack on. Let's get a screwdriver. So I think we'll start. We'll pop the trapdoor open. We'll take the memory expansion out. And we'll start working on this first. Because we know this needs some work. Pardon the scraping noises. So let's work on this first, and then we'll get back to that. It is time to get the casing off the memory expansion and the Varta battery out before it does any permanent damage. And in order to do that, we've got to get this heat shielding, RF shielding off, which does nothing but satisfy the FCC. But on this particular one is soldered on at 3 corners. So I know some people have said theirs was glued on. This one is definitely soldered. So this may turn into a sort of a mini review as well of this this little soldering iron, which came from Seed as I think a Kickstarter. It's this nice little OLED display. It's minuscule. It's a bit tricky to put together, and the build quality of the screws not so great because the Allen key provided doesn't actually fit them, but it does seem to work. So let's grab some desoldering braid, sadly really tiny desoldering braid, and see what we can do with this thing, and see if we can actually suck this solder up. Please don't mind the noises in the background, that would be the dog. It does definitely melt the solder, but this is quite a lot of this is quite a large area for a very small iron, so I might have to switch to my trusted little Antex that I've had forever. see, I wonder how hot this gets. Probably very, very hot. That's a stupid question, Aaron. I wonder how hot this metal thing gets, and I'm got my soldering iron. So let's just see if we can, like, basically spudge this apart. If I can get enough heat in here. So this is a temperature controlled iron. I can let's see where you can see that. I can turn the temperature up. Let's have it up to like 350. And it tells me it's heating up. You know, I'm just desoldering a shield right now, so I don't need, you know, any particular finesse. Do that. And we are in. We are in like Flynn. So, we have a little plastic shield here to, you know, stop anything from shorting out, and hopefully a little bit of judicious bending of tabs. Are we free now? Yes, yes we are. And, ooh, Varta goo. Varta goo. However, I mean, yeah, there's some green around there, but actually it's not progressed that far past, like, these resistors. Let's see if you can get a nice close-up. So you see there's some verdigris on those resistor legs, but it hasn't made it as far as the chips, and obviously there's a nice big patch of green goo around the battery. So let's get that out of there. So quite obviously those 3 pins. So let's turn this back down to like 300. Cools down pretty fast too, actually. So I actually quite like this. It's a bit inconvenient because they give you this really short earth lead that clearly I'm supposed to clamp to something, but don't really have much except for the power supply for my MacBook. And I've lost which 3 traces it is. That's the battery. And that's this guy. This guy. Come on. You gonna do a melting for me, or? These guys. Alright, let's start with these guys. Ooh, I could do it with my extra hands. Yep, solder sucker would make this a lot easier. And by solder sucker I mean a proper desoldering gun. Let's try the old trick of add a bit more, because I don't have any flux paste here, sadly. So we use a bit of good old 6040 rosin cord. I know, lead, etc, it'll kill me, blah blah blah. So just try not to breathe. All you guys hold your breath. Smells good. I mean, I didn't breathe. Because why would I breathe? This is lead. We all know lead's bad for you. Come on, little lion. You could do it. Come on. Most of that one. So after a brief interlude, because the camera ran out of battery, and I needed to walk the dog, we are back. Now, what we need to do is get rid of the rest of the solder and then get this battery out. Now I could just clip the battery off, but I would rather desolder it properly. And since my little soldering iron is struggling a tad, let's go for the slightly bigger trusty Antex. Of course, for this I get no, temperature gauge or anything like that. I just get to turn it on and leave it for a minute. While that's doing that, yeah, I think we might get away with just cleaning this up, A little bit of vinegar, some isopropyl alcohol. I think it'll be alright. If we can just get this to desolder. Let's, yeah. This is a much more old-fashioned soldering iron, but with a bit of luck for desoldering stuff, should work just fine. Otherwise, I'll have to go in search of somewhere in one of the workshops. I have a temperature-controlled soldering station, which again wasn't an expensive one, but all right. Starting to get there now. Yeah, there we go. Horrible tip, needs tinning, but hopefully it'll be enough to de-stick these. guess this end is ground plane. I guess the trouble with these batteries and desoldering them is that they are just so big. It's a lot of thermal mass you're trying to heat up. And alright, let's go for plan B. Let's see if we can cut the sucker off there. That might actually be free. Okay, we've got one free, one down. I do not recommend this method. Desoldering station would have made this a great deal easier. Alright, now we do the wiggle. All this white fuzz, by the way, is alkaline corrosion. Gotcha. So, that's our first look at how the board looks under there. Not too bad. Let's just get you in for a nice close-up. Focus. See, there's some damage, but I think we might get away with it. So, just clear up all that alkali goo. Get this. Brush. So I'm just going to use some white vinegar to neutralize hopefully you see the conformal coating come off there, along with the some of the printing. Luckily, we don't need that bit. But well, you can actually see the, don't know if you can see that, but the bubbles, which I'm going to hazard a guess, it's the acid neutralizing the alkali. That's all up under this. Yeah. I'll just take that off because sadly, we will never know what resistor numbers these were again. However, better that than the alkali from the battery just continues to eat the circuit board. I think you're probably okay on this side. Give it a bit of a wipe anyway. Whew. So, clean this up. Now, let's go in with the isopropyl alcohol and give everything a good scrubbing. I need to have not to snap back capacitor off. Alright. So, might as well give it all a good scrub. Yeah. And we just clear up the work area a tad. And then give it a bit of a blast dry. There we go. We can pull that good. So I think you'll probably see that, but there it is. It's pretty gnarly. But if we hadn't come in and treated that, and to be honest, I'm tempted to do it some more, but it would just get worse. You know, it would just spread. Rots it from the inside out. And eventually it'll make its way to the chips and, you know, or a critical component, and it will just stop working. I don't know if I want to solder in the battery or just leave it without a real-time clock, to be honest. First things first, we should probably test to make sure this still works and isn't now dead as a doornail because I butchered it. So guess that means we need to fire up the Amiga and check it out. So I will move you over there. So it's moment of truth time. Will this or will this not still work the way that the Commodore gods intended? Let's pop that in. Snap the trapdoor back in just to stop it falling out. Plug some connectors in. RGB video. left and right audio, and power. Oh, and a mouse. A mouse with a tangle in its cord. That's what it is. A mouse that I see Amiga kit have laser replacements for, so might well pick one of those up too. And oh, probably help if we turn the screen on. And the extension lead, to be honest. So, alright, now that silly idiots actually remembered to turn the TV on, it's the moment of truth. Well, it's not a green screen of death, so that's a good start. Let's grab our brand new Workbench 1.3 floppies and put them in. And look at that. Shaky cam approaching. But there you go. It seems to work. I mean, that's not a memory test, but at least it's recognized. So, I'm going to call that Varta repair good. Onwards and upwards, right? See you guys later.